take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota.
Prematurely, we'll see if Freak's decision pays off for him long term.
Welcome back, folks. We'll see if we're in store for a more tightly contested quarter as we move here into the second. In a moment here to take a look at some hustle stats for the Timberwolves.
Boy, they've really amped up the pressure at the defensive end, guys, and have piled up the steals in the early going.
And also, how about the fact defensively they're getting that backboard and getting out in transition, especially in this first half.
On the court for the Timberwolves as our second quarter is underway. Washington, he's in at point guard. Zhang is out there with Garnett. Then there's Shabazz Muhammad, and it's Wiggins in at the 2 spot. Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Well, Kev, Freak in the last matchup against the Nuggets played some outstanding basketball. He ended with 28 points, and he got there with his usual way. Just an impressive barrage of threes. He was just too much to handle as he came off the bench to turn in a great outing, guys. They hope it continues.
All right, Doris, thank you. He played at a level that very few players are capable of playing.
And, you know, I'll be interested to see how much he's got left in the tank. I mean, that performance had to take a lot out of him.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes supreme confidence can increase your stamina and endurance. So I'll be interested to see how that affects his play.
Nasty, absolutely filthy.
And the building is stunned, partner. He dug deep into his bag of tricks.
I tell you what, I hope he keeps that one handy. I want to see that one again. Give it up.
And it's time for a look at our rookie leaderboard to see which rookies have been the most dangerous scorers in the league over the last 10 games. Freak, number 1.
And, you know, they've given him some more.
Look, the game is slowing down for him. He's starting to see the whole floor now.
The Timberwolves making a switch here. Payne's checked in. Knicks trail by 16. It's now been a decade since the Minnesota Timberwolves played postseason basketball. Last trip to the postseason for the Wolves back in 2004.
Wow, that was a long time ago. And if you're wondering, that is the longest playoff drought in the league currently. Wolves want nothing more than to get back to playing playoff basketball, and featuring the #1 pick in last year's draft will help.
Good way to start, you're right. And that one's good. Freak.
It just seems like the more he touches it, the more the lead grows.
And stolen by Freak. Moving it up. And Wiggins gets it to go on the assist by Freak. Wiggins has got his second bucket of the night.
And that's how the coach would draw it up on the fast break from start to finish.
Yeah, and what a finish it was, guys. Really nicely done.
Oh! Boom! And nobody getting in the way.
Not at all. Major throwdown there. Terrific assist that time by Rubio.
Now here's Roten, covered by Rubio. Here's Washington. And he goes in for the dunk.
Well, there's hot guys, and then there's really hot. They just can't miss.
You know, Greg, sometimes you'll see an individual guy go on a shooting tear like this, but the whole squad, wow.
The Knicks making a switch here. Calderon's checked in. And the Knicks with possession here. And they're off to Philadelphia after this game as they'll take on the 76ers. That'll be just one game played away from home for them. And a wide open look for Freak. And another three for Minnesota.
Wow, unconscious has he been this quarter. They're riding that hot hand.
Now the dish to Thomas. Porzingis passes to Thomas. There's the feed to Afflalo.
I mean, the Knicks were bad last year, and it became evident early on as the season grew older, more and more of their national coverage games were being pulled.
A different look for New York. Robin Lopez is checked in for Kyle O'Quinn. Williams comes in for Porzingis, and Carmelo Anthony has subbed in for Lance Thomas. Big group substitution now for Minnesota. Nikola Pekovic is checked in for Jang. Towns comes in for Adrian Payne. Shabazz Muhammad's checked in for Wiggins. And Levine subbed in for Ricky Rubio. For the Knicks, losing a lot of nationally televised games, too. It seemed like every time they were on, they were losing. It might have been a blessing in disguise.
Well, I hope they look at it in a positive vein. It did give them a chance to focus on player development there in New York. Also allowed them to shut down Melo for the season.
Now here's Calderon, covered by Washington. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. You look at the numbers for Robin Lopez, Clark, they won't blow you away, but his impact is a lot bigger, I think.
Exactly, Kevin. I mean, he's unselfish as a player, does all the little things. He's not focused on his numbers or shot attempts, and that's a welcome deal for coaches and teammates. He just wants to help his crew win.
Tries from 16, takes a big high bounce and goes in. 36 points for Freak.
Well, there you go. I mean, if they're going to keep giving up open jumpers, they're going to keep getting burned.
Anthony kicks to Williams. To the middle, lets it go from 11. That's in, and he's now 3 for 3 and looking sharp.
And speaking of the intangibles for Robin Lopez, he's great at boxing out for rebounds and setting screens offensively. Again, things that there really aren't stats that are kept, but those are ways you can impact the game. And those are the kind of plays that often go overlooked.
They've slowed down casting those triples here in the second.
And Clark, I'd like to see them go back outside. They've been shooting well from the perimeter.
Wow, we're going to remember that one for a while.
I know I will, Kevin. That was special.
My goodness, that was almost a circus-like dunk. And Lopez, or as they like to call him, Rolo, an elite rim protector, just a really good shot blocker, but he doesn't chase blocks. He just challenges every shot inside without fouling.
Williams gets the bucket.
How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any individual agendas.
Yeah, and it's really fun to see that kind of unselfishness. It's really hard not to appreciate all the assists they've racked up.
And how about that for a response?
Well, it sounded as though, or at least it looked as though it sounded like, we'll give you a 3, and then we'll take it right back.
And through the first half, a pretty lopsided affair. Timberwolves ahead, running away with it. And time now to go courtside as we send you over to Doris Burke from the sideline. Doris?
Well, Ricky, what does it say about this team to have such great productivity from the bench, and what does it do for you guys as a unit?
It's amazing. That means like we have a
We're getting back to the action now. It's been a one-team show so far. So New York going with almost an entire new group here. Kyle O'Quinn, he's checked in for Lopez. Lance Thomas comes in for Porzingis. Derek Williams, he checked in for Carmelo Anthony. And Roten subbed in for Aaron Aflalo. Big group substitution now for Minnesota. Nikola Pekovic is checked in for Towns. Payne comes in for Jang. Shabazz Muhammad's checked in for Andrew Wiggins. And Freak subbed in for Levine. Tony Roten out there with Calderon. Then there's Kyle O'Quinn. Then there's Lance Thomas. And it's Williams at small forward. That's the 5 for New York right now.
Well, I know last year the Knicks seemed to me to be very passive offensively, and that can sometimes be the case when you're trying to learn the triangle offense, but they never seem to attack the rim at all.
In a moment here to take a look at some hustle stats for the Timberwolves.
And guys, something every team strives for is getting points off of turnovers, and they've done that here in both halves.
They've repeatedly gotten out on the break tonight as well and scored a lot of baskets in transition.
Towns, he's checked in for Payne. Fast break, Minnesota. Freak with the ball, and Muhammad gets it to go.
And you can see the difference with their ability. to win with their speed, guys.
Boy, I love the pace and flow that their open court offense has been played with. I mean, it's been humming quietly, but very efficient.
And you talk about huge single-game scoring performances like we're watching here tonight. Going back, only one player, think of this, only one player in NBA history to go triple digits, and that's the Big Dipper, Wilt Chamberlain, on March 2nd, 1962.
Truly an iconic record. I mean, 100 points. I mean, it's hard to wrap your mind around, but Wilt was a man among boys, a player who changed the way an entire sport was played. Truly a revolutionary. I love the ball movement there. He put that on a silver platter, just served him up.
Freak with it. He has 45 points and another 3 for Minnesota.
And at the offensive end, he's done about as much as they could have hoped for today.
Now here's Roten. Tight defense on him. Thomas kicks to Calderon. That's good. And it's Thomas picking up the assist. Calderon's got 7.
That's their third straight make off an assist.
Great ball movement.
Here's Washington. No good from outside. Knicks trail by 17. Now here's Calderon. He's got 7. Pass to Roten. 1 second left. Can't get the layup. And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough to come back. Welcome back as we get ready to start the fourth. Different look for New York. Kyle O'Quinn, he's checked in for Aflalo. And it's Williams in for Tony Roten. Big group substitution now for Minnesota. Payne, he's checked in for Towns. Garnett comes in for Jang. Tayshaun Prince is checked in for Andrew Wiggins. And Freak subbed in for Levine. On the court for Minnesota, Washington, he's in at the point. Garnett out there with Payne. Then there's Shabazz Muhammad, and it's Prince in at the 3 spot.
And as we head to the final buzzer here, a crushing blowout, big-time dominance, and this will go in the record books as a gaudy win for the Timberwolves.
But, Steve, you know, you don't see this kind of a blowout often. But tonight, this is a quality win across the board to deliver out this kind of punishment to
Well, you know what? I thought they did a nice job of playing against the game. They kept the pressure on and clearly were dominant in every area.
And it'll advance their win total up to 12 on the season.
And with the win approaching, they'll take the first game here of 2 that they'll play against this team. Nice to get that first one out of the way and set the tone.
It sure is. It's just a 2-gamer since they're in opposite conferences, and you can bet they'll take the same approach right into game 2 that they had tonight.
And when you look back at this one, what an amazing performance this was for Freak. You have to focus on the steals he came up with. They were huge factors in the end result. And they're on the kind of run that could have made a difference had it just started a little earlier.
Yeah, but I think the only reason they're on this run is because the defense has relaxed a little bit, knowing the game is basically in the bag.
And so it's the Timberwolves taking care of business here. To come into an opponent's building and dominate the way they did tonight says, I think, Greg, an awful lot about this team.
I guess they don't need home cooking to feel at home. I mean, Kevin, just a masterful performance all the way around.
And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for tuning in.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Thank you, Kevin. And now we get a chance to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Freak. It was nothing short of a professional offensive clinic he put on today. He hit shots from every place he took them, and he took a lot of them to score more than 50 points.
That was Freak turning up the volume right there, baby, all the way up to 11. And the stereo only goes to 10, Ernie, but we're at 11 right now. The man himself may be...
And folks, that's it for us. Thank you for tuning in. Always a pleasure. For Kenny the Jet Smith, for Shaquille O'Neal, this is Ernie Johnson. Have a great night.
heat, cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Heat, cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota.